If you look at the broader context, Israel is maintaining an illegal occupation of the Palestinian territories. An integral way in which Israel maintains this occupation is through mass incarceration of anybody engaged in any form of resistance.
Well,
but
Omar,
we're not even talking about...
Omar, let's talk about what this is about.
Just complete that sentence.
All right, complete your sentence.
We're not even talking about the unjust way many people actually end up in prisons in the first place. We're merely talking about the conditions that once they get to prisons that they live under. And when you have human rights organizations documenting, Amnesty International, for example, calling it cruel, calling it unlawful, the conditions that Palestinians live under.
Many would argue that. Many would argue that because they do meet international standards by other organizations. I mean, if you look at the demands, what they're asking for is to have a payphone installed, to have more frequent family visits, to have the opportunity to get university degrees whilst in prison. So if this is the nature of the demands, and we can see in the video footage of Barghouti's cell where he's seen cheating on the hunger strike, the conditions are in par with international standards. So this really isn't about the conditions. This is a political ploy, many would say.
Who's claiming that they're on par with international standards? I mean, here's the thing. I mean,
Omar, many say that this is a political ploy by Barghouti in order to gain recognition, to position himself as the leader of the Palestinians.
Here's the thing.
Well, why is Hamas not supporting these? Why is Hamas not supporting the protests?
Here's the thing. I'm not here to talk about Hamas. We're talking about Palestinian prisoners in Israeli prisons going on a hunger strike for their conditions.
You don't think this is a political ploy?
You can claim if you want to. You can claim if you want to that their conditions meet international standards. And I have not been there personally, so I don't know directly what those conditions are. But we know what human rights organizations say about these conditions.
And you disagree that this is a political ploy?
But even Israeli human rights organizations like B'Tselem say that the standards are inadequate and calls on Israel to improve the conditions and meet the demands of the prisoners. So when Israeli human rights organizations are calling for the Israeli government to comply with international law, I think, you know, this would not even be a debate if you were talking about human rights organizations condemning the prison conditions in Syria or in Iran or in Russia or China. The same prison conditions that saved the life of a hardline Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar. He received brain surgery whilst in Israeli prisons. His life was saved to have a brain tumor removed. And so great that there is one brain tumor that was removed, but there is also many documentation of people losing their lives under interrogation in Israeli prisons.
There are some Israelis, there's some suggestion that maybe there might be some concessions made, but just so I have a better understanding, what kind of concessions, in your view, need to be made in order for the Palestinians to end their hunger strike?
Yeah, I don't think that it's necessarily about my personal view. It's about what they're calling for and what international human rights organizations, once again, are saying is needed. Amnesty International documented the fact that there are prisoners who haven't seen their families in many months, and many have not seen them in years. So when they call for more frequent visitation, allowing them to be in communication with their families over the phone, for air conditioners to be installed in places that don't have them, these are basic human rights. I mean, Israel has to get to the point to where it recognizes the basic humanity of Palestinians, including when they are in prisons, and treat them accordingly. This is what's going to resolve this.